Hi everyone, it's Linda from Linda Z's in Arlington Heights and my daughter Debbie, who is the camera person today.
Hi!
We are going to have something that one of you requested. We can't do a whole big hour on it, but I'm going to try and just dip into it a little bit. And it was one of our customers out there who said, well, Linda and Debbie, could you ever talk about threads? And you know, many of you that have taken classes from me years ago know that I had a thread lecture folder that I put together with threads and needles and fabrics, so you know, well, when I'm doing a shirt that's cotton and I'm doing an embroidery on it, what kind of thread am I going to use? Or this knit shirt here that I'm going to show you in a moment. You can tell what the stabilizer is, and some of you that already know, what kind of thread would I use there? Or I'm going to go ahead and make a dress. We have all kinds of really cool patterns that we have been looking at to see what we want to do for one of our videos. And say you want to make a dress on this beautiful new 880 Bernina.
880 plus.
Oh, I love it. It's just so, I brought a new one in just to show you, and it had this little foot guard. It's still got the tape on it and it's got the plastic on here, but look at the size of that screen and look at the size of this arm. People look at it and they think it's a long arm machine, and you can do some pretty amazing free motion work on this machine. But I'm not going to get into that too much tonight, just that I wanted you to see it and how beautiful it was. And let's see who made this one. Let's see if we can get it. Let's see. The Swissi Deutsch is certificate.
Actually, it was his signature, so we can't read this guy's signature, or girl. This girl or guy's signature. Oh, BW? Is that a B and a W?
It's an engineer, right?
It's initials.
Pretty cool. It's always made by somebody. So I'm going to get right into showing him the threads, and then I'll show him a little bit about the iron.
Okay.
So what I thought I would do, this is my wonderful box. If you don't have these storage boxes, you can see how great it really does put them together, and keeps them for you. And this goes right back in my thread box, and then I don't have to worry about sunlight, and it doesn't damage it. It always keeps it really, really good. Now, one of the things you're going to notice, there's different sizes in here. Just don't look at the back row. The front row is what I work with primarily, and I don't have all my threads in here. I actually have a bin like this with all this big size in, and that's where I always start. This is called Mettler. Let's see, I've got most of them with the Hugo tape, but this one doesn't have it on, so I'll show you how that is. So this is a 100-weight thread. And if you look on the spool, it'll say number 100 here. Sometimes it will tell you right at the bottom. I know it's harder to read sometimes, but you're going to see that there's also a color number on here. And that's so if you want to match it later. But when I can, I buy all my sewing threads in the real big spools, in this size spool.
Does it say how many meters or yards are on the spool? I forget.
I think it's 1,500. There's a lot. I know there's an awful lot on there. I don't run out of this very often.
No,
even
they're
in white
really
and
great.
black. But what's great about this, because this is a sewing thread for any time you're going to put two seams together. So if I try to take this thread and I try to break it, and I don't want you to do that
because you can hurt yourself.
You really can. I mean, it really is.
That's true.
Let me see if I can take one.
Because it's a 3-ply. Say that 3 times fast.
3-ply.
3-ply polyester thread.
Fully poly thread. Now, do you see what's happening to my fingers there? See, it's really, really tight. And if I can probably break it, but I have done it before, and I've actually cut my skin. So you definitely know that this is a really, really good
thread for the seat of your pants, in your pants.
Right. Or any kind of seam.
Okay.
Anytime you're doing a dress or some kind of construction, or you're doing sitting in a sleeve, or any kind of hemming, mending, anytime you're putting two seams together, you want a 100-weight thread. It is the best thread out there. And I'm going to tell you a little tip. Put blinders on when you go into some of the big box stores and they have the baskets of the big, whatever they are, spools of thread, 4 for $1 or whatever.
Oh, it's true.
Walk by.
Yeah.
Ask me how I know it's hard to walk by. Put blinders on. You want really good quality. When you have good quality machines, which I know everybody out there does, right? Or you're in the process of maybe getting one of these, you want to have really good quality machine thread on your machine. Now, what would I do? It's a question for you. See if you know the answer.
It's an exam time.
I'm threading my machine. I'm going to make this dress. I'm going to use this because I know I should use it for the top. And because it's a kind of a woven fabric, a regular all-purpose, I'm going to use an 80 regular thread. Now, needle. So now what kind of thread am I going to put in the bobbin?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. You better tell me now before I sweat it all out.
You absolutely are going to use the same thread. Same
I was
thread.
going to say that, but I thought I'd get like slapped or something. Hand slapped. With she was taking the ruler out. The teacher was taking the ruler out.
So you want the thread, same thread on the top and the bottom in your bobbin when you're doing sewing construction. Not just the same thread, like we carry other brands of this, but this is called Mettler. And the Mettler thread has been made for years and years over in Europe. It's an Austrian Swiss thread. Phenomenal. I don't know who owns it now, but somebody in there.
The Aman Group owns it now.
Yeah.
In Germany, right?
They're
Isn't it Germany?
all very, very high quality of what they do with their thread, and we have always loved it. We had another thread that I don't think we carry too much of, and I don't want to talk about it right now, but I think we do have it. And when you go like this, it fuzzes. Not real bad, but it does fuzz. And now there are some of those other threads in those baskets I talk about that some of my grandmother and great-grandmother might have had, and you go like that and it pops and you'll see the frizz right at the bottom of the thread. You will never see that on this. This is just a strong, strong thread. So you don't want to take this Mettler thread and put it through your needle and then take another brand and put it into your bobbin, because that will distort your tension when you're sewing it, when you're doing construction, or anytime that you're doing repair or anything like that. So,
very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you take usually the bigger spools. When would you take a smaller spool?
All right, I am so adamant about, for myself, getting all of the big spools when I can, because those are the ones where you're going to save the most money. Then there's another size like this that I couldn't find in the big spool.
Right, because they have more and more colors the smaller the spool size.
Right, and so that's when I buy the next. Now they're the same thread, only it's in not quite as big a put up. Now, look at when I go to the next one, I call this one, the little tiny ones that are in the front, I call these, I've used a lot of this, but I call these my matching threads, because there's lots of times when that was a mustard gold, and I think I was doing it I was repairing a scarf or something. I don't want a big, well, I would actually probably take a big one if they had it, but we didn't. So I always go to match when I can't find the colors in these two levels. Okay. So there's 3 levels of sizes. There's the big one, which I think is 1,000 or 1,500 meters. Then you go to the mid-size, which is your next level that you really should buy, because it really will save you money. And then when you go to the last size, that's just for matching. You don't want to buy 2 or 3 of these unless you can't find it
in the other size. Yeah.
Right. Otherwise, you're just doing it for matching. Now, I could spend literally 10 hours. We have done this before with our staff, going through thread. I love it so much, and
because we've only talked about the 100 weight so far.
That's all
really,
we're talking about
is
right
the 100 weight.
And that is for what, gals and guys?
Garment sewing and
construction,
seams and construction.
But
seams.
Think about when you're sewing 2 seams together, or you're doing a hem. That's almost always when you're going to use the 100 weight thread.
Because it's going to get some stretch and some pull and and keep it together.
What about denim? I'm going to make a denim jacket.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
Lots of things. And then this thread chart, which I'm in the process of revising, because we're going to do a whole big lecture in our video studio, and that will have all of the different ones. But I wanted to give you a test.
Your iron is talking to you.
It said something to me.
It said it's ready.
Oh, no, it went off because I haven't been using it for a long time. So I'm going to turn it back on because I'm going to show you something. Oh, you hear that Swiss yodel?
Yeah, yes, it did.
All right, the back row now. Let's move to the back row, because I think I want you to see what's in there too.
Sure, okay.
I don't normally keep these in here. I normally only have the big ones. But there's another weight of thread, and this is a 40 weight. Now, and there's another over here that are 60 weight. See those two? Those are 60. These are 40.
So what happens when you change numbers on the numbers of the thread?
That's where I don't want to confuse you. I want you to remember this rule of thumb that I was taught by Elsa Broglie, HP if you're watching this, years and years and years and years ago. One of the wonderful Swiss educators. And she always said, the higher the number, the finer the thread. So always think about that. The higher the number, the finer the thread. Now most of these, this is a 40 weight thread, and this was a 100 weight thread, but they're for different purposes. Because this 100, you almost put a little divider in there and don't think about anything else, because the 100 weight is only for sewing and construction because it's 3 ply. We're going into a different category of threads now, because now we're going into weights of threads. Now the 100 weight is fine, but think about it. There's 3 spools. I mean, there's 3 strands. So you got you got some real good strength in there because you have 3 strands. These you're not going to get 3 strands in. You're going to get 2 ply. But 40 weight, now I know everybody that does embroidery or has been working for a long time in some of your decorative stitches knows what this is all about. What do you use this for?
Yeah, decorative stitches or embroidery.
Right.
Mostly.
If I don't have the embroidery hoop on here, but if I did, that's where you're going to do the, that's where we're going to use the 40 weight thread. Now there's lots of brands. We carry lots of brands. You know, we have over 100 and some threads in our store.
Yeah, we carry lots of brands.
Are you bored yet? Are you falling asleep yet?
No, this is one brand, you guys. So I tried to bring in a few brands. She's like, oh, no. We're going to split this into different brands.
If you want a 5 to 10
it gets too confusing.
Video, there's no way we're going to do that.
Because already the spools that are outside of the box back there are mine for my quilting world. All the quilting, you got three weights over there. You got 40 is the brown on the left, 50 is the purple in the middle. I use mostly 50, and there's 60, which is a little finer on the right for piecing. You can use that for piecing. You can also use that for quilting. Any of these you can use for quilting, and they pop. It makes the quilting pop.
And let me go back real quickly because I know we have to finish up here. The 40 weight thread is not used the same in the top and the bottom unless you're doing a decorative stitch. And you want that thread to be the same.
Now, why is that?
Because it's a finer thread. The higher the number, the finer the thread. So this 40 weight versus 60 weight, which is finer. Higher the number, the finer
the finer thread. Is the 60 weight.
Right. And the 40
is the
thicker. And that's what you want on the top when you're doing a hoop embroidery, because you want it to go down to the bottom so the top pops up. And then you want a finer thread
on the bottom of your project.
Which is going to be your 60 weight.
Okay.
So I hope that's all I've talked about is 100 top and bottom, top in the needle and in your bobbin. And then I've talked about 40 weight,
with 60 weight in the bottom.
When you're doing embroidery in the hoop or decorative work.
And we haven't even mentioned needles yet.
No, I'm not going to get into that today.
We're going to get into needles in another lecture, boys and girls.
I like to take it slow, and I really do. So it sinks in, because who teaches you about thread, right?
Right.
Did we ever get taught about thread? We just said go sew, get your pattern, do your scissors, and that's it. So I'm hoping this is going to help.
We're collectors of scissors too.
Before we had rotary cutters. Okay, let's move over to the ironing board, because I want to show you something.
Ironing board. Laura Starr, everyone from Switzerland.
So I'm going to just turn it on. So I'm going to give it 3 little shots. I want to show you I have an embroidery design on a knit shirt, and those of you that are real smart already saw that this is no-show mesh fusible, and this has already been put on. What I'm doing is just pressing this now because this has already been ironed.
She has her mat underneath there. See that too? She loves that mat. She uses it every day.
Now I will tell you, with this
iron, you don't really need it, but
board, you probably wouldn't even need the mat. You know when I really use the mat is when I first do an embroidery. The first time I use it, that's when I use the mat. Now, Debbie didn't say anything about what I just did.
I am freaking out right now because she set that down on purpose, I'm sure.
Remember, this is the extreme cover, and I can leave it there all day and it will never burn.
Okay.
So now I'm going to really take this off, and you'll see that this board will be just fine because it's got the extreme. And now I'm going to go ahead and put it on the board.
Right side.
And I'm going to put it on the... wonderful.
Ooh, you have bling on here, Mom.
I do.
What do you do for ironing that? You just have to go around them?
Yeah, I just go around it.
Go around the bling.
I press it on the back. But you see how this works so nice? You go backwards, forward.
Nice.
Once, that's all you have to do. Turn it over, keep going. Now look at those wrinkles there. I don't know if you can see it. back. Oh, look, I even put one in. I did it so fast. Back, forward.
Yeah.
Now, the seam, because I am working with a darker color, I would normally put my plate on there because then it won't get, see how I got a little white? When you put that on there, you would not get that.
If you had your
put
plates.
this on, right.
It's a 3D
So
plate.
I
Soul
hope
plate.
I've given you a couple of little new ideas now. Are you smiling and laughing and saying, what in the world? How could you
What in the
do
world?
that? You know, we're almost coming to the end of these. We'll continue once a week.
Did you make your
maybe
shirt, by the
twice.
way? Did we see this already?
Yes, it's all kinds
With the all kinds of really fun stuff.
Right.
Wow, really cool.
But we are going to have our video studio. We are going to have memberships. We're going to have, and we'll still have.
We have
these
some
at least
events
once a
coming
week.
up. What
we have
did
the
we want to talk
Kimberbell.
about?
It's almost filled, you guys.
Oh, I know.
I wasn't supposed
We
to
weren't
mention it
supposed
like
because
that.
it's almost full. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mom. We don't want to have anybody disappointed. We will put up other dates, you guys, for Kimberbell when this one is full. But we wanted to talk about.
We have we have actually 3 events coming up in June.
We have OESD
Yeah,
first.
OESD is
Or
going to
we
be
have
coming. We have Floriani.
Quilters Select.
We have Trevor Conkergood.
Trevor Conkergood coming. Judy Friedenberg.
Right. We have some really There's a special
Kelly
thing
Rushing is
with
coming.
Ricky Tim.
Ricky Timms is going to have a special
And
announcement for us too. Absolutely.
On June 5th. Watch for that. That's coming up.
That's a lot
I
of
know.
announcements.
And oh my gosh, you guys, we've been so busy
Okay.
because we are planning to open. It's going to happen, but we'll give you all kinds of warning of when and what we have to do because we're getting all these restrictions. But it'll be fun. We're really
we're hoping
excited
it will be
about
fun.
So, all right,
Okay.
guys, thanks.
Happy
Have a
Memorial
great
Day.
Happy
Okay.
Memorial.